Oh, good morning. It is about 7:50 in the morning here in Central Time Zone, and we just received the latest updates from the National Hurricane Center about the position, strength, and eventual track of Hurricane Dorian, and I wanted to offer some commentary on that. I apologize for the informal view here, but I got to go coach some first and second grade boys soccer here in a little bit, and I want to make sure and get this out as early as I possibly can. And so what we're watching here is the sunrise over Dorian this morning, a powerful hurricane, rapidly intensifying over the last 24 hours from Category 2 in strength up to Category 4. And the most substantial updates that I want to share with you this morning is really coming from the discussion provided by the National Hurricane Center. They're the best in the business with this. And some of the things that have changed in the last 24 hours have been the steering currents of Dorian on Sunday and Monday. And I'll share that with you in just a few moments, but we are now, as you can see here, expecting the center of Dorian to become, to get very, very close to the east coast of Florida, but it appears right now that it might skirt the east coast on its way up there, more toward a landfall, potentially near Georgia and South Carolina. There is the possibility that this system actually skirts all the way and misses. I'll show you why. I think, there's a range of possibilities here in a few minutes. It is going to be a very powerful hurricane. Wind shear around this is very weak, so we will still have the influence of a powerful hurricane as it moves towards shore. But the latest guidance suggests that there's a higher probability of a miss for Florida. But I want to explain that very carefully to you in a few moments. Now, when the National Hurricane Center puts together this map, which shows this cone, this is their historical error, their historical forecast error. That's what determines the width of that cone. So that means that normally when they have a system here and they're forecasting it 5 days out, this is how wide historically the error has been. So the possibility of this still making landfall is very real, and it's going to rely on several things. Now, I want to show you the latest here from the European ensemble run last night. And I know it's a little bit hard to see down here, but what I want you to focus on is how about 40% of the European ensemble forecast members, so it's a 51-member ensemble, remember, so about 20 of them still have this system making landfall in Florida, still has the eye hitting Florida. We then have a larger group of them coming right up here and making landfall somewhere between, where the Georgia and South Carolina coastline. And then yet still a group out here, about 20% that hang out and keep this off the coast. So there's a lot of uncertainty, and this is what happens when the steering winds around these systems become very weak. So what I want to do next is I want to take you here on Sunday to kind of show you what I'm going to be watching most carefully. Now, there are technically two separate ridges and a deeper trough that we're going to be watching. Ridge number 1 is out here. It is elongated and weak. Ridge number 2 is spinning right over Florida, right in through this area. And the initial thought is that this ridge coming in this area is going to slide further to the south, so it's going to move this direction. And what that's going to do is that's going to give us very weak flow on the north side. Now, why do we care about that? Well, that is not a wind that's going to be pushing this system in any direction. I mean, do you notice how the winds around Dorian here deep in the atmosphere are quite weak? And therefore, what is anticipated is this is going to slow the system down. The ridge that's to the north and east of Dorian is far enough away and weak enough that it is also not contributing much to Dorian's path. So this is actually very good. Now, I know I've told people in the past that a hurricane that slows down is bad. That case only applies when it is over land. Slowing them down out here over water is very good. And the reason why is because it's going to give us a better chance to get this trough with much stronger winds. See how these winds here are racing on off to the north and east? A better chance at grabbing Dorian as it slowly moves toward the north, right along the coastline here, and maybe take it off and away from shore. It's all about timing at this point, which means we're going to have to watch this all day and all morning again tomorrow morning to see how this eventual track is going to take Dorian. So it's the interplay. We need this ridge to get as far south and south and west as it can. Let Dorian stall so that it can get picked up by this trough and pulled away. All right. If it does, it appears as though Dorian might take a track very similar to what Hurricane Matthew did. So this is Hurricane Matthew from 2016. See how it skirted the coast there and then eventually made contact here up in parts of South Carolina. Now, what this does not remove, and this is the thing that I have stressed all week long last week, is that when we think about this, the flooding threat is still very real. And I want you to remember that Florida, let's just go look at this real quick. When we think about Florida, in the past 30 days or so, parts of it have been extremely wet. Percent of normal here, more than double. And then you can see that parts of South Carolina in through here have been very, very dry. Let me zoom in for you there. So we're talking about putting down a bunch of precipitation on parts of Florida that have been dealing with flooding, and also parts of South Carolina in through here and Georgia that have not. It's been in drought in some places. So this is the national blended model picking up on the eventual path of the heaviest rainfall from Dorian. And I'm just going to come back and say one thing we should all be hoping for is that this trough is able to grab Dorian and shove it out to open ocean, preventing a catastrophic series of events across our southeast coast. I'm not trying to sensationalize this. I'm sorry if I'm speaking with a little bit of extra emphasis this morning, but these events, while incredible to watch as an atmospheric scientist, we do know and understand the destructive power that they can cause. So I'll be watching it all day today, and I'll be providing updates as I start to get more information. If you don't hear from me, my story is going to remain the same, okay? I'm going to go and wrap this one up right here. I hope that you all in the Southeast have a safe and happy weekend. Please just keep an eye. If you want the best and latest resources, nhc.noaa.gov, National Hurricane Center, nhc.noaa.gov. They are the best in the business. Please check them out, okay? All right, we'll wrap it up right there. Thank you.